Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 33. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report. Once again, we have plenty of news, plenty of updates, and you don't have to adjust your speakers or your headsets here. Unfortunately, my throat and my voice here is not exactly fully up to speed yet. So unfortunately, I have been sick since last week's news report, struggling still a bit, but I hope you'll still stay with me here because we have plenty of things to go through today. We are maybe at a turning point. Last week, we mentioned a bit about the all-time high profits. I showed you many of the EAs overall did extremely well. And obviously, we wanted to see if that's going to continue. Or as we also have, is there more stormy weather ahead? Or is it now time to have that green profit? Simply just mowing the lawn, getting the green dollars in here. What is going to happen to the market? Now, obviously, you might get a small idea after you have watched this particular news report, because a lot of the things are changing. We are seeing a trend. But again, it is a trend on a very short term. And obviously, the Forex market always has a way of coming back to us and doing their own thing. We also have to have a look through this news report at Expert Forex, and Alex has a couple of new videos out. This is one of them where there's an update now to the hedge robot. There's an upgrade in here. We're going to have a closer look at that too. So let's get started, and hopefully you will bear over with me and the voice here for the next 20-25 minutes. So when it comes to Yieldnodes, there's very little news overall that we can tell you. So there's no new emails from either Steve or Urs. All we still have is our platform, which is still operational. And the last parts that we had in here was the Yieldnodes NFT that you can sort of barely see right here. So if you didn't claim it yourself, put it to your wallet, that's where it would be. And then the last part from the previous news that we got from Yieldnodes was the audit coin reserves that you can go in and have a look and see exactly what it is they're staking and what are the amounts in here. So let's quickly jump over instead to the Rolls-Royce, the SAP, which is maybe a fiat at the moment. So definitely not going well, pretty much sideways here since last week, and that's where it's been for quite a few weeks now. We left it here at the red circle last time, and since then it has been trading pretty much in the same band. We are down to point and then 7 zeros and then a 4. So not really something to write home about yet. And obviously, again, as we always mention, there is not really going to be any news or updates, I believe, on that particular SAP coin until we will see some real business going on with Yieldnodes and Decenomy Pro again. So we're going to jump straight over to the SAP staking that we have instead. So it looks like this week that we got 280 SAP in here. So that came in on the 17th of August. And now we can see that we are on the same level as June and July. So 840 SAP in here, which is obviously quite nice. We still have another 1 quarter to go, or 1/3 to go actually. So about 10 days. So there still might be a chance that we're going to get as high as January, or even better, obviously May. So all in all, we got 1.1% for the week with the 280 SAP. And then on the top left corner, you can see here that our SAP coins is up to 26,378, which is obviously very nice. But it would be even better if we could get back to the old values that we now had about 2 or 3 years ago. So then it would actually be worth something. But in the meantime, let's go to the PNY. See what happened here. Pretty much nothing. The last ones we had in last week's news report was 2 times on the 11th of August. That has taken us up to an average similar to what we had in March. And there's still also, as we mentioned here, quite a few days to go for the month of August. So definitely hoping we're going to get a bit higher, at least once or twice more this particular month. That would be excellent, and I guess you can call it a good month overall then for the PNY. Bitcoin versus USDT, well, that one has pretty much been trading sideways. Yes, it has been jumping up and down a bit. So on the red circle again, this is where we left it. and we actually left it at about 58,200 or 300, so in that range. Since then it did spike up to about 62,000, drop again down to about 56, but in Bitcoin terms it is pretty much roaming around on the sideways trading, so just with a few pumps and dumps here and there. So obviously it looks like it's in an interim before something hopefully will happen again to it, either bigger or smaller portions of trending. We actually have a bit of news for the Trillant news this time around, and there is now the monthly reports coming out instead of the weekly reports. One of the things they have in here is that there's a new trading location for the XT.com, so for the Trill USD. And they write here that they would like to inform you that the trading pairs, the Trill USDT, has been temporarily hidden on the XT platform and moved to a new location. And the reason for this is there is currently little movement in the Trillant ecosystem. Definitely we can understand that. Everybody is sitting back and waiting for these audit reports. That is taking way too long. Says the internal process of the XT aims to reduce the attention of XT.com users and basically saving resources and cost. There's still a way where you can access this following the link that you can see here below. And then be assured that all existing assets will remain available on the XT.com broker as soon as we receive positive decisions regarding the resumption of trading. We will of course reactivate the coin immediately and inform you without delay. So obviously that is another bad sign overall. Now we also have some information regarding on the price development for the Trillant coin, the TRI. The price of the Trillant coin has fallen sharply in recent weeks, which raised questions among the community here that we would like to provide a brief explanation to avoid misunderstandings. Now we showed you part of this last week, where basically it had a very sharp drop. Several 100% in here, and we're also going to have a look at that through the coin store market later on. So the explanation here, why has the TRI price fallen? And it says over the past few days enormous quantities of TRI coins has been sold on the exchange. This has triggered some speculation that the company itself is selling the tokens to deliberately lower the value of the TRI. However, we would like to clarify this is not the case. Anyone has been following the wallets and on Etherscan in here, we'll see that the company has not influenced the price. The TRI token is freely tradable token. This means that every transaction on the exchange influences the price. When large quantity of tokens comes onto the market, this is inevitably has an impact on the price. Currently interest in selling, utilizing the tokens appear to be higher, which is putting pressure on the price. And then basically this is the normal supply and demand in here that they are discussing again. And at the end of the day, you can obviously read the whole text here. They thank us for the patience again in turbulent times, and definitely also here we have seen a lot of turbulence in the last couple of years. And the last part that they also mention is procedures in the event of death of a user, where you can pass your Trillant account on to your next of kin. And again, they would like to inform us here on how this is actually done. They have a procedure in place, and then through that particular post here and on the platforms, you can find procedures when a user dies. If you should be so unfortunate to have a family member die, then you have to go through this particular process in here. Make sure you get the death certificates and also your inheritance, things like this. So definitely there's a possibility where you can keep this going, hopefully until better times for the Trillant part. In the meantime, let's go for the TRI coin and the coin store. Last week I showed you that it dropped all the way down to 0.40 and then 122. As you can see here, it has actually jumped up quite a bit, more than 100% since then, which is obviously good news. But we actually came from an area which is about 4 times higher, so there's still quite a few 100% to get gained before we get back to anything that looked like a positive move on the coin itself. Positive moves, we can normally always find them on the Trade Explorer. For week 33, the 10-pair one did $248 or 2.5%. That is a bit low compared to previously, but I did mention here in the beginning that things are slowing down, at least right now for this particular week. You can see the overall balance for that part. And this is the Expert Forex copy link service. Our link is 146C. Quite a few have linked up to this one over the past year. And overall floating profit only minus 123 out of the 34,000 in equity. You can see how well that has been going. And every single time there has been some turmoil in the Forex markets, it seems to get some good jumps up here. And obviously it's going quite well at the moment. We have a history of 462 days overall and still trading about 12 trades per day. So definitely a very active EA overall. Let's go and have a look at some of the other numbers in here. If we have a look at the individual weeks, so this goes all the way back to the beginning of February, we can see that most of the time we were in the area of 2,400s, and then all of a sudden we come to the middle of July. It goes from the 280, 260 into 600, 535, and last week we had a massive $1,444 coming in. And now all of a sudden it has dropped back down again, 248. That is pretty much to where we used to be. The question is obviously if this is going to continue. So let's have a look at the Wave Liberator to see how that did for week 33. The top 5 EAs here. You'll also notice that the profits is also down. And obviously it sounds a bit strange if you're the first time in tuning into this particular video that a Euro Great British Pounds that did $138 is down on profit with only 13.8% for the week. But that is actually the truth compared to what we have seen recently. US Swiss francs, $136 or 13.6%. And then Aussie Swiss francs, $103 or 10.3%. And then New Zealand Swiss francs, $72 or 7.2%. And then Great British Pounds, USD, $71 or 7.1%. A lot of Swiss francs in here, as this one was definitely on the move. It had a lot of trending parts, and the EA still managed to cash in after first a bit of a drawdown. Total for these top 5 EAs, $519 or 10.4%. And that is also back down to a reasonable level where we have seen it in the past, if we just exclude the last month or so. If we then go and have a look at the graph, we can see that it's doing quite well. Balance 245,000, and we started off with 10 accounts of 10,000, so started 220. Equity is up 239. Floating profit and loss is actually also improved, so it's down to minus 5,887. Plenty of closed profits in here and free margins. Total return 15.1%, monthly returns 1.3%, weekly returns 0.3%, and a heavy trade win of 68%, so it looks quite well. And then trades per day, about 14.6, and history is now a whole year, 366 days. And having a look at the graph itself, you can see how smooth it's been. This is because we are again trading a lot of different currencies in this portfolio, but you can definitely also see what has happened in the past weeks. Profit has gone up. Yes, we have made some adjustments to our EAs. We did promise you that, but I can definitely not say that this is the new settings we have and they are worth gold. No, this is the Forex market, obviously also taking a huge toll on this, and the EAs are simply just cashing in on it. And it's great to see that the drawdown overall is also coming down here now. If you want to have a closer look to see which ones in the past couple of weeks that has done well, you can go to our website, hightechinvestment.com, and then you can go into the EAs. You can go and click on the individual ones to see which one did well, which one had the lowest drawdown, which one has the highest profits, and then you can sum it all up in your own little portfolio. In the meantime, let's go and have a look and see how the numbers have gone up. You can see that pretty much somewhere between, you can see here 397, 300. So we are looking at 300 or 400 in the past many months. started to go up in July when we made the first changes to the EA to 500s. And then all of a sudden, everything has gone completely haywire. We made 1400 here, so then 2000 in last week. And now the profit has dropped a bit again, not down to the old levels, but certainly high. So 1087 for the past week, which is definitely well above where we are normally expecting it to be. Having a look at the RSI Liberator to see how that developed for week 33, it is a bit of a similar part. You can also see here a lot of Swiss francs again. That was the one that was on the move and heavily trended. And as it returns, then you're basically cashing in here. So Euro Swiss francs, $190 or 19.0% just for that particular week. Great British Pound Swiss francs, $86 or 8.6%. Aussie Swiss francs, $85, 8.5%. Swiss francs Japanese, $64 or 6.4%. And then Great British Pounds Japanese, $56, 5.6% overall for those top 5, which definitely has a massive influence with the Swiss francs and the Japanese, as you can see here. We managed $482 or 9.6%, so good, steady, heavy profit, but not in the same area as we have seen in past weeks. Also here, the RSI portfolio overall has 22 EAs. It's up to 231,593 in balance. Equity is also positive, 224,000. Floating profit and loss is still at a minus, 6,889, but it's still an improvement from past weeks, so that is good news. Total return 2.6%, monthly returns 1.2, so that has gone up a bit. Weekly returns 0.3, so that's good to see also the changes we made. Trade wins very similar to the Wave, also 67.3. And then trades per day, there's more, 23. And the history is a bit shorter, 135 days in here. You can also see that the profits is increasing here with the market. It's not exactly showing as clear as on the Wave Liberator. But you can still also go on the high-tech investment website. Again, have a look also for the RSI. Look at the individual currency pairs that you have here. Which ones are the ones that are cashing in, which ones are the ones you want to have a closer look at and maybe set up for yourself. We also have to look at the numbers to see exactly what is the trend at the moment. And previously we saw a trend of mixing somewhere between 500 normally and 600. We have 400, and then we had a jump on 900, back to 600 and 700, then up to 900 again. So we could see a good development with the changes that we did. But then last week here, we also had the high jumper again with 1533. Now we have jumped down a bit again, so at least 1 or 2 levels with $949. So looks a bit better. So obviously it's nice profit. We would like a lot of profit, but with that many times also come higher risk and drawdowns. And we would like to get back to a reasonable level, which should be somewhere around maybe 600-700 up to 900 on a good week. Now you can find a lot more details and information on the Wave Liberator and the RSI in here, or we can jump over as we're going to have a look at our PAMM account in here. The PAMM account is the high-tech investment Wave Liberator. And when you look at the graph again, I have to remind everybody that this is actually not losses. This is investors cashing in, taking their profits and taking their money out. There was about 50,000-60,000 the first time around back in April. And then also here in recent weeks, after the drawdown came down, it looked like quite a few people also decided to take money out again, add another around 50,000 in here. That's why you have these minuses showing up on the net profit, because as soon as they take the money out, they actually also remove the profit that was previously made. And then all of a sudden it looks like we had a loss, which is obviously not the case. We managed somewhere in the close area, because there's always small little changes when people are adding in money and removing money, but it is pretty much stable. So we can say around 2,000. And that's also where we expect it to be, because everybody is very cautious. We are trading at a lower risk at the moment because of the way the market is actually operating. We have a history of 174 days here at the moment, and a nice positive weekly returns 1.2, monthly returns 5.1. Again, this has to be adjusted for especially these two big times in here where the profit was a lot higher. So we believe that overall, and that is mostly closer to, let's say, 7 or 8%. Now, if we have a look and see exactly how we do compared to some of the other PAMM accounts, Expert Forex have a whole range set up in there. And what we look at here, the current balance for all of them. Now, this is not always updated live, so there is some delay. I took this particular picture. So over the weekend, there was about 547,000 in there. And then there was a gains of 91,000, 94,000, and then gains 17.3%, drawdowns minus 88,000, and average again 16% in here, net gains and also net gains in percent. You'll then see that high-tech investment in here after the age of 166 days. For sure we have more days in here, as you just saw. Current balance that we have is about 278, so we're also a bit behind on that one, but we are pretty much about 50% of everything that is in here. But have a look at the gains overall. We have about 2/3 of all the gains, so we have made more than $60,000, even as people have removed money from there, so that is very good to see. The average gain that I mentioned was 17%. We are looking at 21.8, so obviously nice, but it would have looked even better if we wouldn't have had these massive withdrawals in here. Drawdown, we also have the biggest drawdown, but again, we also have the biggest currency or the biggest current balance, so obviously that has an influence on that. Our drawdown is currently 21%, so obviously that again was the history from the weekend. So a bit over the average, but on the other side, so is our gains, so it goes very well. Net gains also, we're having a big part of the overall in here. So things are looking good. Projected growth annually, 47. Again, we believe that that is definitely very, very low because we are most probably around 7-8% at the moment. So even after the turmoils in the markets, so we should be at most probably around 100% instead. That is most probably what we're going to be aiming for here in the future. Now, also due to me being ill here last week, I haven't managed to get much further with the RSI PAMM investigation. So I will try and come back to you as soon as I am better and as soon as I get the last details and information so that are needed in order to try and give everybody a good update. Now you can go and find a lot of these things on the high-tech investment website, as we mentioned. And another thing is our Lucky Trader. We need to have a closer look at that one too. This is still a very new EA that also seemed to do okay in the market, even though we had 2 blown accounts. So let's have a look at the top 5 EAs in here. And the Euro Great British Pounds did extremely well, also with $388. 3.9%. We had the New Zealand USD, $348 or 3.5%. Great British Pounds USD, $264 or 2.6%. And then Euro USD, $131 or 1.3%. US CAD, $79 or 0.8%. Overall, these top 5 EAs for week 33 made $1,210 or 2.4%. So it's proving to be very stable and very profitable EA here. And obviously we need more EAs set up with new currency pairs to test. But we're going to have a closer look and see how well that has been going. We have about 6 accounts at the moment and we are having a balance of 69,000. So that's good. Equity is also positive. It's up to 61,793. But the profit and loss for this particular EA has actually reversed. So it's actually higher profit and loss at the moment than we had last week. So it's gone up with a couple of thousand. So even though you also see the close profit is here. So it'll be interesting to see if we're gonna have a drop. So next week to try and recover some of the profits in here. Total returns is 3.2%. Monthly returns look like a good solid 7.7% as they've not been optimized at all. They are still running some of the test settings. Weekly returns 1.8 and trade wins also look pretty okay. Bit lower than the RSI and the Wave Liberator, but not by much, 66.0%. A lot of trades per day, and that's because it's using small grid sizing, so 25 trades per day. And we now have 2 months of history, so 62 days overall. And if we have a look also how that development has gone, we can see that in the beginning, obviously not in a lot of money as we're setting the EAs up, then we're getting 1,000, just a bit below. Again, just over 1,000, then 800, 700, and then also here we can see what the market has done. Cashing it big time, 600, also last week 2,000, and now also this particular lucky trader has dropped again down to 1,209. So it looks like all the markets are settling in. The question is still what's going to happen after this. But Alex is not waiting for this. He has actually made a new video regarding price direction doesn't matter, and this actually comes from a free indicator in here that he is talking about, one that you can actually apply already today. Now he doesn't mention too much about it, but it could be a future EA that he is preparing us for, setting up these videos. This is not the first time Alex has done that, trying to explain some of the indicators and then build that into his EAs. So this is going to be quite interesting. So if you want to have a look and see what Alex is doing, then this is the video to have a closer look at. You can even experiment with those three indicators now to see if he's correct or not, if this is actually going to be something that could be interesting, if he's going to develop this EA later on. We will have to see, of course. What we do know is the hedge robot has gotten an upgrade here now also. And one of the nice things is there's 4 ways now to exit trades. So there's a new pruning function that has been updated in here from the previous ones. That should always give you a nice little profit. So in most of the cases. And one of the other things that comes also is actually you can get out of some of the trades, some of the currencies that you don't want to trade anymore. So if you can see that something is happening on the Swiss francs, Japanese yen, or any of the other crazy currency pairs that has gone nuts here in recent weeks, then you can simply add in the currency pairs. And next time all the trades have been closed, it will not open new ones. So that is obviously a good part. And he also mentions download of a free trading tool. So both videos here is very informative. So the video links will be in the video description here below. And that's what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, the storm is over for now. We don't know if another one is coming in. Maybe it's just, again, silence before the even bigger storm in the Forex market. What we have been used to in previous years, at least the last 4 or 5 years that I've been trading, is normally July and August is basically low profits. There's very low movements. There's very little volatility. That is certainly not something that can be said for this particular year here. It has been more volatile. It has actually found new ups and new downs on many different currency pairs that we haven't seen in many years, and has only been challenged by previous COVID, so back in 2020. So there's definitely something in the market here where we are looking at something similar to crypto, where in Forex market we normally had top and bottoms. We knew what was up, we knew what was down, and in the past weeks and months we have certainly seen that that has fully turned upside down here, where new lows have been observed and new highs all the way through. We are, of course, also adapting to this particular part, and that's why we are showing you not only the profits when it's going up, when it's going down, but we are also turning down the EAs to a reasonable level. We are using new tools and information, so to try and make it safer to trade every single day. but still trying to have some kind of profit. So I hope that this has been worth sitting through. So I'm happy to still have my voice after this particular video here, and I will of course do further videos in the future also for the RSI. We will also have a look at some of the copy link service, maybe add some of the RSIs in there in the future if and when the Forex market comes down a bit. We will have to wait and see, maybe a couple of more weeks, but at least there could be a trend where things are slowing down to a more regular level. Until then, we will have to wait and see, and I will update you on my next video. So until then, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.